Okay, guys, really quickly before the video begins, I just want to say that I will try my best to make my weekly quota. Like I've been saying for a while now, I want to do at least one video per week, and school's starting up in a few days, so I am sorry in advance if I do not make my quota. I have a special disease that limits my ability to attend school, and I have to make up work for the days that I missed, and I'm trying to work through that, but it is really tough. So please stick with me, guys, if I do not upload every week during the school year. Hopefully it should get a bit more regular when summer comes around again, and I should be hopefully more stable then. And I'm sorry I sort of missed this week's quota. I was sick the one day I could record, and I couldn't get better before vacation, and then I left like after I got better on vacation. So I am sorry for missing that, and I'll try to be better in the future. Hey everybody, what's up? I'm OrangeGuy557, and today I'm going to be talking about my personal top 10 worst Doctor Who episodes. I've loved Doctor Who for a long time. I've watched it so much that I've formed my own strongly believed opinions. Let's get started with the number 10 spot, which is The Caretaker. So The Caretaker was a very boring episode for me. There really was no substance to it. It was, for the first half of the episode, the Doctor being really socially awkward, and that's why he's an alien, because we're using the stereotype that he's an alien, so he has to be socially awkward. There's more ways to express that than just social awkwardness, or just, being a jerk to people, not really caring or having any feelings whatsoever. There's other ways to make him seem alien. And then, for the next half of the episode, we have him arguing with Danny, who he literally just met. And he's already starting to argue with them and just giving off a mean tone towards Danny, and that's just really boring for me. I know what they're trying to go for. They're trying to have like a scene where it shows off the fact that not everything works out, not everybody likes each other, but it's just, that's not the vibe I got. It was just more of a thing to extend the episode because they didn't know what else to do. This is just my personal opinion as well. All these episodes are. If you don't agree with me, politely tell me in the comments below. I enjoy your guys' comments and opinions, but not when it's being rudely said to me. And the next episode on the list is The Long Game. Now, this is sort of like a, I'm going to be repeating what I said on episode 10, because this episode really, again, does not really have that much substance to it. It has some interesting things, and it sort of shows off what the writers believe that the future will be like, showing off how the people get their news and how they record it and report it and things like that. That was interesting. But then it's like, once you learn that, they literally don't do anything else until they get to floor 500, where they meet the really bad villain called the Jagrafess. And they even have a scene in that where the Doctor literally says, "That thing is in charge of Satellite 5. And to me, that I feel like that's something Rose should have said, because that makes the Doctor sort of seem like he's biased, like he does not believe that that kind of an alien can be in charge of Satellite 5. And even though it does look like it may not be able to do that, I still should think at least that the Doctor would know, yeah, that's something that can happen. So the next episode on the list is The Wedding of River Song. Not one of my favorites, that's why it's on the list. This episode was really weird in terms of the fact that River Song somehow stopped her future self from killing the Doctor, and now all of time is happening at once. Winston Churchill is like the president of the world, and the guy who wrote the Christmas Carol is on the television news, and there's cars tied to hot air balloons and just other weird stuff like that. I don't even know how this got past production. This is so much of a weird episode. I do like the idea of using flashbacks and having the whole episode as like a giant flashback until the end. That I think was really interesting, and something that I believe they should use more often in Doctor Who. And then the ending really didn't make sense to me. Why would they make a whole episode dedicated to trying to stop an event that happened if the Doctor already survived. Because the Doctor, he knew he was about to die, so what he did was he got a suit, one of those fake robot suits, and had him die. And then it's like the whole episode literally has no point because of that. And that's just something that I found really stupid about the episode, and that's mostly why I don't like it. So now, next up on the list is the Zygon Invasion and the Zygon Inversion both together. I couldn't find a cover online that had both of them because these covers are not mine. I do not own them. I'm just using them for the purposes of the video. I just found these online on Google and I downloaded them because I thought they looked really interesting and I figured I could use them in the video. But yeah, these are all fan-made covers. Anyway, so as I was saying, the Zygon Invasion and the Zygon Inversion is next up on the list, and that is because it is just a really stupid episode. You have all these just really stupid things in it. That's why it's a stupid episode, I know. But this is one of those episodes that does not make sense at all. I really don't like the new Unit girl that has taken over, and Unit itself has just dropped down so low. They literally have in one scene where they have all the Unit members with guns fully loaded and they're ready to kill whatever comes in their way, and then a couple Zygons show up, and what do? They just start screaming their heads off and die. That, to me, makes no sense. These should be very well-trained soldiers to shoot to kill. But now they're just screaming their heads off and letting themselves die. It was just really stupid for me to watch that. It felt really bad for me to watch that. Just based on the fact of how just stupid that scene was. And then the whole rest of the show sort of reflected that and carried on that feeling. Next up on the list, of course, is the dreaded episode from Season 8. Listen, Season 8 and 9, in my opinion, are the worst seasons of Doctor Who ever, and I really do prefer Season 6 over these, and Season 7, because there are some really great episodes in those seasons, and there are just okay episodes in these seasons. It sounds really interesting when you hear about them trying to find a monster that is so perfect at hiding, but then you actually watch the episode itself, and it's like, nope, the whole episode's just about Danny, going through Danny's life, and for some reason the creature is latched onto him, and then you realize that the creature is actually not real, that it's just all supposed to be in the Doctor's head, and that he made everything up about it. But one thing I really was questioning as well was, how did the door open in the future? When the Doctor is in the future, the distant future place, whatever, and he unlocked the door, it opened itself. And I don't see how a fake monster, or a monster that doesn't exist, can open the door. There's nobody else alive, no other living thing there besides Danny. So how can the door just magically open itself if it's just merely unlocked? It's not that the wind pushed it open, it's an actual wheel that you have to turn a certain amount of times before the door can open. And I do not understand how that door can open if the creature was never real. I am sad to say that a David Tennant episode made it to the list, but Love and Monsters did make it onto the list because this was a really bad episode. I really did not enjoy this episode at all. It was a lot weirder and more of like a comedy, more of a comical, cartoony based episode than normal ones. Like when you see in the first scene them running around like Scooby-Doo style, and then you have the weird looking Absorbaloff. And, like, it's supposed to be menacing. It's supposed to be like, oh, yeah, this creature can, like, kill you by absorbing you. And it's supposed to be serious toned, but it really isn't. And it is super obvious who the alien is, but nobody's smart enough to know till the end. And the one action scene, the one running scene that was in the episode, just seemed really stupid when you see that giant, fat, stupid alien guy running. It just really looks more comical and more cartoony than more of a serious toned. And then at the end, when you see that his girlfriend is a piece of cement, and they talk about and they hint that they have like he makes out with her, and they hint that it's like that is just really gross and really weird for me to even conceive. It was just really bad. In the number 4 spot, we have the Robot of Shorewood, or Sherwood, however you want to say it. This episode was really unenjoyable for me because of the fact that it was just 40 so minutes of bickering. Non-stop bickering that's supposed to be a comical relief, but it just turned out just to be annoying. It turned out to be more annoying than comedy. And how the Doctor has this, like, oh yeah, I know how the universe is supposed to be, and then something like this happens. And the Doctor knows, and they've even said this in, like, not only Doctor Who, but they said this in the Sarah Jane series, that most myths and legends are based around fact, but the Doctor just for some reason cannot accept that. I understand that for some people who like this episode, or even some people who don't, they can at least understand that this is sort of a emotional thing for the Doctor, how this is supposed to be turning into something like the Doctor maybe doesn't know everything about the universe, and that really bothers him, and he does not want anything to defy his knowledge because he wants to feel superior. But they could have taken it a different way and done that, and that could have been really well done, really emotional and stirring, but this is just more of an annoyance. At number 3, we have The Forest of the Night. Some people may be surprised that this is not number 1, and I'm a little surprised too, but there's just some episodes that I feel were horrible in comparison to this. And no surprise, they're both from season 9. So some of you can kind of guess what they are. But yes, in The Forest of the Night. Why do I hate this episode? Some people may like it. I understand there's at least one person out there who likes this episode. Most likely more. But the reason why I do not like this episode is because it feels so stupid. The Doctor literally is redundant in this because he does basically nothing. And it could have been interesting, having a character that is viewed in a lot of people's eyes as an enemy, but then as they dive more into trying to stop him, they realize that he's actually a good guy trying to stop somebody else. That's a really interesting idea that I believe that they were going for, but I don't really think Trees cut it as a villain that's actually really nice. I don't believe that Trees were the appropriate choice for the villain in an episode. Number 2 on the list is Hellbent. I'm guessing that a lot of people actually really expected this to be on here. And to be honest, when I first saw it, I didn't really think too much of it. It was just more of a bit more of a boring episode for me. But then as I look at it more, I realize that they didn't only ruin Clara's death, but they never really gave her one. I know that's a problem for a lot of people, but Clara's not one of my favorite companions. I liked her when she was earlier in her tenure, but this, when she gets older in the show, is really something that I don't really enjoy seeing her that much as she progressed further. Her death, or her first death, I should say, was really good, really well written. But why couldn't he save somebody like Rose, a good companion? It's not really the fact that she came back that's what made me hate the episode. Well, it is a big factor, because it's oh yeah, the Doctor Who cannot let go of any companion. They cannot just have a companion die and then just completely pass her and don't let them come back. They've never done that in the new season. Some of you are probably well, yeah, they've killed a lot of companions, but all of them came back. Rose, she came back for the season 4 finale episode. Martha, she came back in season 4 and did nothing to really contribute to the episode. Donna, she came back in The End of Time, which I guess was like an interesting. She didn't really come back, but she was still seen in that episode, and that's something that we're just like, okay, let's just please move on. Amy, she came back in that little snapshot at the last, before Matt Smith regenerated. You know, she came back then. And there was, who was next? Oh yeah, Clara, where she came back and she officially has no debt. And now Bill is coming back as well for the new Christmas special. But what I'm trying to get my point across is that you need to let characters go. Let them have their tenure, let them have their time, and then just let them go. Let them go, don't bring them back. Heck, don't even mention them anymore. Just let the past be the past and don't bring it back into the future. Another quick thing I do not agree with this episode upon is that they have Gallifrey coming back, which is something that's supposed to be really cool, and they have the Doctor going, and he's in Gallifrey, and he's meeting some of his old friends and stuff, but they're living in barns. This planet is supposed to be full of people who master and fly and travel through time and space. They know everything about the universe, and they've been everywhere in the universe, but yet their home planet, they live in barns? That really takes a lot of the mystery and a lot of the majesty out of these people who are literally called Lords of Time. And the number one episode on this list is Doctor Who Sleep No More. This has no intro titles whatsoever. It has, I guess, an interesting concept behind having people blow through their sleep using the machine. I guess that's an interesting concept because it makes people look more power hungry, and it makes them look more desperate for money, do more work, get more money. That's literally what it shows that they only think about, which can be true for a lot of people. But then you have some characters in the show who literally are against it. One of the guys who's in the rescue team is completely against it and literally says in the video, is nothing sacred. But then you have these sleep dust monsters that are a really bad choice for an enemy in this episode. Sort of like the trees were in the Forest of the Night episode. Those were a really bad choice for enemies as well, and not to mention almost impossible. Because you have to realize that this would take like thousands of years for even one of those things to be like half done. Unless they just have like copious amounts of sleep that they just wipe off in their eye at one same spot and they don't ever throw it in the trash or something like that. That just really makes it stupid. It's all in first person as well, which I guess is sort of a cool idea, but I would just stick to something like flashbacks. Not something like, oh, I'm just going to record everything from first person. Just in my opinion, though. It might be cool for some other people. Anyway, guys, that was my list. Thank you all for listening, and hopefully some of you do not agree with my list. I'm hoping that some of you don't agree with my list, and that you respectfully tell me down in the comments your opinions on the episodes that I have mentioned. I'm always open to new things, so if you can change my mind about an episode, that would be really awesome. If you do that, I might do a revised series or something like that, or at the very least, enjoy the episode a bit more. So I do thank you all for watching. Every comment and every like is really appreciated, so if you could leave both of those for me, that would be amazing. And be on the lookout for more Doctor Who videos, because I do have special opinions on some episodes that nobody else has that I've seen, as well as other theories that I have not seen mentioned before. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later.